Live right on time.
Look at that. On time. Welcome to the latest edition of TDS Live, the FAMU film breakdown, the film room. We're continuing this. It's been a lot of fun interacting with everyone who comes on and asks questions. Seth's lined up some plays that we're going to review, some good, some bad, some here's the concept, what they were hoping for. A little bit better execution maybe, and we'll see more success. I'm still dreaming about that break on the stem of Jimmy Horn's post route from Florida. I can't seem to get it out of my brain. So hopefully there's something like that this week. Seth, before we jump into it, after watching the game back. I know, last night on the podcast there, you said you're a little concerned about how they played in the second half, a little more concerned overall. Watching the film back, are you still kind of steady on that, or is there something that maybe caught your eye in the second half there that maybe changed your thoughts and opinions there?
I think the one thing just watching it back is you can kind of see defensively in the second half, they were really kind of trying to get out of the game. It seemed like play younger guys, get out of the game. I mean, their corners were playing consistently very far off. I think we have one or two plays from defense in the second half, and you'll see there's like a 4th and 1 or a 4th down, and they come up and play aggressive on 4th down and get off the field. So that was one that one's not as concerned as in the stadium. Now, it wasn't great. I think they still could have played better, but they were also allowing a lot of easy throws. I think they were just kind of whatever, take easy throws, get down the field. If you want to put together a long drive and take up time to score, we're so far ahead that we don't really care. So that's a little less concerning. Offensively, I think the ideas are there and you're close on a lot of things, but it's just not quite as sharp as you would have liked, especially against a team like FAMU that you should be beating pretty handily. But there were times in that game where, they got, I think USF didn't play sharp, but they also got some breaks that they may not get in some other games. You got a snap that goes 30 yards over a guy's head, and you get a couple holding calls and some pretty decent plays by FAMU. So the good thing is it's a win, and they won pretty comfortably for the most part, I think. And what's good is also you didn't have to play great to win comfortably. I don't think they played their best game of the year, but they still won comfortably. So you're hoping you can fix those little things, improve on that, and then as the season goes on, you start winning some more games against some tougher competition.
Absolutely, and Jeff Scott said as much in his press conference on Tuesday, saying, this isn't the best that we have. He said if it was, then he'd be really worried for the rest of the year. But as your sentiments echo, it's a win, and they didn't have to play their best to get a win. So let's jump into it. What's your first play? I hope it's something exciting.
I think it's exciting. We're gonna go full screen here. I'm not gonna be able to see any comments, Nate. So if you see any, jump in and
absolutely
take them. I think we're full screen here. We're gonna start after the fumble. I don't have that. I would have liked to start with that, even though it's on a down note. First drive of the game, couldn't really find it in a lot of places unless the video looked like it was shot on a potato. So we're gonna try. We're going to go with mostly good video here. We'll start with the defensive side of the ball. I believe this is Mr. Bellamy making a triumphant return. He's going to see this jet motion, and he's just going to come into the backfield and blow up, beat the blocker, and make the tackle on the goal line here. He flashed a lot, and we talked about him last night a little bit. Just kind of flash on film, and he's always really aggressive. But this is a guy you're going to need, I think, as the season goes along because he's not afraid to get downhill, and he's athletic enough to play in space too. We saw him, I think, break up a pass like right after this, so it was quite a good series for him.
And what's really interesting on that one, just briefly, he actually gets chopped by the running back and still makes the tackle. I mean, that's just a athletic play if I've ever seen one. And
he does enough to kind of avoid it a little bit, get off his feet, but he's flying in there so fast that he kind of just blows the play up.
Yeah, just a hell of a job by Demaris Bellamy on that one. And
we'll go full speed one more time so we can get the full effect here. But he got back there in a hurry. That's one way to defeat the jet sweep right there. Meet the blocker 4 yards in the backfield. Jump over him.
Big fan of that. Yeah. I mean, this entire defensive possession is a work of art from the USF defense. We nearly had a 0-yard pick six.
Here's the screen coming here. You see here that, and you'll see a better view of it. This snap gets caught late. I had to cobble together like 3 different video sources. So this is from the USF official highlights of the game. But you see Blake Green here has slanted across here. Thad Mangum, I believe, started here, and he's coming back around now. And then you've got blitzers coming in here. You kind of let the blitzers through because you got a screen. But right here, good job by Tramel Logan, I believe it was.
Yep.
Playing off the cut block right there, using his hands, not getting cut. Then he gets himself back in on the play. And about makes, like you said, a 0-yard pick six. But great job to recognize the screen and get off of, because if he's not there, this is not a bad call by FAMU. On the screen with this pressure coming, you got him backed up, bring some pressure. That's actually a pretty good call. But
you see 6 guys, in the end zone, and Brock Nichols about 15 yards deep. That gets complete, man, you've got 2 lead blockers on a safety and maybe a corner out there, and
he's probably the most elusive guy on FAMU. He's really athletic guy. He's one of those guys that's probably at FAMU because he's short and he's little, but he's very fast and elusive. So this could have been a big play right here, but great job of recognition by Logan, fighting the cut block and getting back in there and about making a pick on the goal line. There's not going to be a ton from the defense tonight just because, I thought for the most part, especially thinking about the second half, they kind of dominated in the first half, or really. They got off the field a ton on third downs. I think FAMU might have converted 1 third down in the first half, I believe, or something pretty close to that. I know USF was at one point like 5 of 10, and FAMU was like 1 of 8 or something to that effect. But I thought the defense played well in the first half. The second half, I think they just pulled off the throttle. So,
yeah, negative 7 yards rushing in the first half for FAMU.
You see right here, third and short, doing a pretty good job here, fighting off blocks. You see Greer as a blocker coming to him, avoids it, able to get in on the tackle there for another stop on third down. Here's the fumble here. Right here, they're trying to run some zone. They try to cut here. You do a good job. You kind of avoid the cut block and attack that mesh point. It happens a little quicker than if FAMU's hoping. They're not quite ready to hand that ball off yet. So really good job just attacking that mesh point and then getting on the ball, being smart, not trying to pick it up there. Good job just falling on it, getting your offense the ball back. And good field position here. And here, this is not, you're seeing right here, we talked about what can you do against BYU, who's going to try to run. This is really just wide zone right here. They're trying to run zone as well. The movement up front, you see, we got basically everybody slanting.
Mm-hmm.
You beat a guy across face with your speed, you can get in the backfield and make stuff happen. So that's what you're hoping. If you're outmanned a little bit against BYU, you've got to do that. You've got to kind of move and maybe create some havoc plays in the backfield, right? Fourth down late in the game. You've got some younger guys in. This leads to the final touchdown drive right here, but you got 4th and 1. Good job. You see blockers getting pushed into the backfield here. That's a pretty good job right there. And you stop him short of the first down there on 4th and 1.
Yeah, when you end up on your face as an offensive and you're grasping that air on a 4th and short, you probably did something bad, and the defense kind of forced your hand in and won those battles. So kudos to them for not fighting. I know these are some of the younger guys. I think that's Thad, Rashawn Yates. I think I saw Stacey Kirby sighting. So, I mean, good job by them.
So here, this is one where you see the movement here. This is similar to what happens on the screen. He's going to come through the center and guard there through that A gap and try to kind of get both eyes on him. And then Mangum's going to come around on a little inside game there. You see Mangum comes free. And then the other guys do a good job. You force the quarterback to step up into more pressure. And you get a nice sack on third down there. So nice, just nothing crazy, but just moving in the interior, doing some twists and doing some different games in the middle there. And pretty good job of pushing the tackles in the backfield by the outside guys.
Now, obviously, you want Thad to be able to make that sack. Like, what could he do a little bit better? It seemed like he just kind of went wide and lost it a little bit.
Yeah, I think the quarterback did a pretty good job of just kind of getting skinny right there. But yeah, obviously, like you could be maybe in a little more control, but it's easy to say when you're not a big guy running as fast as you can, try to get there. You know,
right?
I think this is more of a quarterback made a good play, but even if you miss, you're forcing him to step up, and you're hoping that he's stepping up into kind of pressure too,
into the muck, and he did.
Yeah. So it's not a terrible thing. You don't want to lose him outside, right, and lose contain. You'd rather have him try to come up through.
Right.
I think it's tougher that way if you're making the pocket muddy. So pretty good job there. And this is one I just wanted to show. Just the one in the previous fourth down, they're both in the second half. You see there's a difference. If you go back and watch the game, these guys are up on the line of scrimmage when it's fourth down, when they can get off the field. They're playing pretty passive in a lot of other parts, but this part's pretty good. So right here, this guy's a good receiver. You don't quite see it at this angle, but the corner does a really good job of playing through his hands right here. You're going to think, well, he never turned around. He got lucky. But if you watch this view here, he's really just kind of got eyes on his hands. And watch as he just plays through his hands right there. He sees the ball, and he just knocks it out.
That's Rutgers transfer T.J. Robinson with that play on 4th and 2 there.
And it's good to see him back. He kind of went out dinged up for a little bit earlier in the game. He came back. And this is a really good play right here, just playing through the guy's hands on fourth down to get off the field.
Absolutely. And Connor Farrell wondering, is FAMU a team to watch in the FCS this year? And, I mean, they're coming off a 9-2 year, right? In 2019, they missed 2020. I think they still need to kind of figure out who their quarterback is.
I thought the guy that played the other day, especially once the second half when it was just kind of more catch and throw stuff,
right.
I thought he played pretty well. So I think he's got some good tools. He looks like a good thrower. So I think he's going to be the guy going forward. And I think they've obviously got some athleticism. They got that receiver, Xavier Smith, that was a handful for USF. Obviously let him catch, I think, a lot of stuff. But what did he end up with, like 15 receptions or something like that?
Yeah, let me pull up the stat broadcast of that, because I saw they have the target shares, right? They have
I know at one point he had like 14 catches and 20 targets. So I think FAMU will end up being a pretty decent team at that level. They're not typically, or recently at least, I don't think the HBCUs have been powers at that level for some time. Usually, if you get in the top 25 as an HBCU, I think you're having a pretty good year. And I think FAMU got in the top 25 a couple of years ago. So, they've played Jackson State, who's Coach Prime's team. They played them tight in the first game. And their defense, I think it's going to be pretty good. So I think they'll be a pretty good team at that level.
Xavier Smith finished with 25 targets and 15 receptions for 139 yards. They fed him the ball early and often. We pointed him out in the preview. We pointed him out in the pregame show in the preview that this is a guy to watch for, and he did not disappoint at all. I was a bit surprised at what Bonnet wasn't able to do. They really liked the other back. He had a lot of success. 6 carries, 93 yards with a touchdown, including a 40-yarder. So that was a bit surprising to me. But Xavier Smith's the real deal at the FCS level for sure.
Yeah, we were both trying to see if he had any eligibility left because he would. I think he would be a guy that you with that free transfer now. I think you'll start to see some of those guys that have a lot of success at the lower level try to transfer up with a free transfer and see if they can kind of make a name for themselves in 1 year. I think he'd be a guy that somebody would take for sure, but I believe he's like a 6-year senior.
Yeah, I think he's a redshirt senior this year, so I think this is his swan song.
Last one for the defense, you see a compressed formation here. You got a receiver tight. They want to take a shot here. USF's actually going to blitz the corner off the edge and kind of disrupt the timing here. Quarterback's got to avoid it, reset his feet, and just chuck it. Leaves a kind of an inaccurate ball. You're a little worried, I think, about the receiver kind of won on his route there, but you did enough up front to disrupt the timing of it and end up with an incompletion.
Yeah, I'd love to see the back end. It seemed like they had two guys in the same area, and then it looks like one ran a dig and one ran a corner, and it looks like the safety kind of got caught in between there.
Yeah. But this, again, you see the difference in kind of how far off they're playing here on 2nd and 7 in the third quarter, and then when I showed you the 4th down that with Robinson playing through the hands. I think they were kind of just, let's get out of this game with minimal injuries. There's about 37 guys that have fallen down on the field for both teams.
Right.
So so watching it back, there's a little more, okay, I get it from the defense, kind of what the issue was. So let's get to the offense. First big play of the game. This is actually this is one of those ones where it's a minus and a plus. It's a plus for the run, but when you go back and look at it, he actually makes the wrong read here. So they're letting him go, getting right to the second level. Right here, I think that's probably a give read and let him get downhill. But with the guys that are more athletic, sometimes you teach them, hey, if you don't think he can tackle you, you keep it. But then we watch how the play kind of plays out, and he ends up just following the back right where he's going. So I don't think that was the designed lead play. I think he just read it and wanted to keep it, and then was like, oh, crap, I should have given it. And then he follows him. So,
and I'll take the ultimate here. He doesn't take a hit. He gets out of bounds.
No, that's a great. Unfortunately, he doesn't keep going with this later in the game. And he got up a little limp a couple times, but early in the game he looked fresh. This is kind of what you get out of this guy. He's able to make things happen with his legs if stuff breaks down. Right there, not the perfect play. If that's one of the other quarterbacks and they make the wrong read on this handoff, that plays might be dead in the water. He's able to kind of get past his first guy and make something happen with his legs. So,
and we won't talk about the illegal block in the back by the receiver at the end of that run.
No, yeah, that was blatant. I think these refs were amenable to USF getting their first win as well.
Yeah.
So here you got a shot play. Not a bad throw. You give them a chance, right? A lot of times we're just with the receivers USF's had and the guys that are seeming, can go up and get it. Give them a chance to make a play. He gives Xavier Weaver a chance right here. He goes up and makes a play. Not a perfect throw, but again, you're just trying to give him a chance. Here's a kind of a little different view of it. Same play.
Yeah.
And he goes up to get it. That's for sure.
Can we slow-mo? Because it seems like Demontre J stops his feet, and I feel like that's not what you're supposed to do as an offensive lineman. It looks like his feet get crossed as well.
You don't. They had some problems with this. I think they were bringing a guy from wider than it seems like they were kind of. They would have this guy a little wide sometimes, and they had some problems picking him up. They moved him around. This guy was pretty athletic, but he gives just enough to pass to get off, and then Xavier Weaver does a good job going up and getting you in good position down here. So that drive ends up with the fumble. I believe you have to kick a field goal on the next drive. So then you get the third down here. So all they're going to do here is they're going to kind of clear. It looks like these two guys are mostly going to clear out, right? It's hard to see. And then outside guys running a deep dig route. and then he's running a shallow cross. So this is like a shallow. You'll see like shallow plays. You have affinity for Madden and then NCAA with the X follows and such. We were talking about that one yesterday.
Absolutely.
You get but this is a shallow cross. It's like a staple play, especially with West Coast stuff, where you'll get a drag and then you'll get a dig behind it. If they jump on the drag, you'll have the dig back there. Vice versa, if they fall back underneath the dig, you'll have the drag. Using these two guys vertically to kind of clear out here.
And are you always reading high-low in that? Is the shallow cross short safety valve?
I was always taught high-low. But again, I played for Kerwin was a big high-low guy, but he was aggressive. If we had the deep shot open, he wanted to take it. He didn't want to miss it, So we always started high-low. I mostly taught high-low just the same reason. You don't want to miss the deep shot if it's there. So you kind of start here. But this one you can kind of go either way. Sometimes we'd have a similar concept, and sometimes we just look, especially at the lower levels, like the high school levels, we may just isolate him and say, what does he do? Does he turn and get depth? Not really. So then that dig should open up. Does he play this right here? He's playing that. So you got a window right there where he vacates. So it all depends. People could teach it differently, but the result is kind of the same. You're looking, if they take away that shallow, you got the dig. If they want to fall underneath the dig, especially on third down, hit that shallow on the run and see if your guy can make a play here. So right there, they kind of play up on the dig. This is a really encouraging throw. We talked last week after the Florida game that we wanted to see McClain hit some more intermediate stuff. It seemed to be a lot of over the top in the early games he was hitting. And this was nice to see intermediate right on target, right on the run here. I mean, that may have been the best pass he's thrown at USF. The touchdown later is a good one too, but this is a really good throw right here on a rope. Unfortunately, you get the injury here at the end, but this is what we were all hoping to see with Luttrell, getting him in space and let him run. Unfortunately, his season is over, but there's a few different guys that we want to see get the ball and run, right? Exactly. I think that's the talent there. If they can get them in space, I think they'll have some success on offense, more than they've had so far. New look, kind of a new formation. They get under center. It's going to be something different. Quick little flip play out there. Pretty good blocking up front by the receivers and by Brinkman out here. You see, you got an extra tight end here. You ended up with another tight end. I believe Gunnar Greenwald was here. He came back on the other side there.
Yep, and you got
and then Donovan, Gregory here.
Donovan Jennings on the right hand side as well.
Yeah, so you went a little tackle over. So cool little. So let's see if we can get it by the snap, right? So you could tackle over. So that's another cool wrinkle. So if you don't overload that side, you're in trouble. Right here, Brinkman does a good block. The other guys get enough, and Mangum's a pretty tough runner. So if you give him a sliver where he can get vertical, he does a pretty good job with it. And you'll see that later on too, in some of the zone run stuff.
Less than ideal blocking from DeMarcus Gregory, but we'll live to see another day.
That's right. It was he came off, and then there was nobody really there. He's like, this guy with Randy. He tries to get a little hand on him. I think he was like, they just wanted to stay close right here. There's no interior penetration.
Right.
He figured Mangan would have his back right there if he went outside. So, yeah, not a killer block, but not bad. So here, 1st and 10 here. They take a shot to the fade. This is one where you got it. The throw ends up just being a little too short here. Just get it out to that corner. Give him a shot right there. He didn't really have a shot on that one. Here's the touchdown. Cool concept. So this one gets caught a little late here. You have the back motions out. You're going to run like Y corner on this side. He's going to run like a snag, and he's going to become the flat guy. Over here, I believe you have a corner. So they almost mirror it up. And he's going to sit for a second. So it looks like kind of the same as up here. Then once this linebacker comes to match him a little bit, he's going to go to the end zone here. So right here, sits for a second, feels him matching him. And then you got this happening over here. He's going to break to the corner. Feels him match him. See ya. get to the end zone. You have a good job, good route there, and then a good job by McClain. This was another encouraging thing to see. Pitches, steps right up in the middle of a clean pocket, makes a throw in between defenders.
That's a throw you want to see, right?
That's the one last week against Florida, or the previous week against Florida on some of that RPO stuff. He had kind of a similar throw and left it a little behind the guy. This was right on time, right on target. Really good job by him. And then right there, if you wanted to work this side, he got widened by the back. They both fall off underneath the corner. So you could have taken Yusef Terry there too. So it's kind of, I think you could work either side of it. Or if you didn't like this guy was playing hard over it, you had that. So really good concept, really well drawn up and well executed by USF on offense there. And a good throw. All right, next. I'm not sure if this is the very next drive, but later on here in the game. So this is basically power read. They ran this a ton at Clemson with Deshaun Watson. Block. We're going to read him. If he widens out, then I'm going to keep it and follow my pulling guard right here. If he wants to stay in here with me, which I think you'll end up seeing as the season goes and they do this more, well, now I pitch out to him on the run, and he's got two blockers out on the edge. So it's a really good play. If you got the right quarterback for it, this can be deadly. And right there,
got him.
Gets him leaning, gets vertical, just misses the block here. I think this is one situation where the guard was looking for like a linebacker, and it ends up being a safety that comes down to Phil. You can see as he comes through here, he's kind of looking back into the box.
Right.
Or when this guy's coming here. So that's something, I believe that's Dustin Hall. So he hasn't played a ton of reps at guard.
Right.
But I think the more he plays, this will be one where he knows, okay, this is my guy. You see how he kind of gets his eyes on him a little late. He's still kind of checking, oh, wait, which one? And so he misses him there. But I think if he's got his eyes to him immediately, then you say we get that blocked, and now you got McClain with either a lane or just one-on-one with this guy for a really big play here. Still ends up being a pretty good play on first down, but it could have been a little bit bigger. But that's something that's easily fixable. This is just kind of they blitzed, He's thinking that I'm going to have this linebacker, basically, is what he's thinking, right?
Right.
Well, that guy blitzes. So now he's like, oh, I don't know who I got. So he's looking in the box. Is there another linebacker? No. And then by the time he notices the safety coming into play, it's a little late. And that's just something that'll be more reps. 3rd and 4. This is when I think he just he gets locked in right here, I think. It's 3rd and 4. It looks like we're running all short routes right here. So let's let the routes kind of develop so we can see it. He's going over the ball. So he's kind of hooking over the ball. Then it looks like you got two kind of ends. Then I'm not sure what's happening down here. If he's supposed to block here or if he's just getting jammed. If he's blocking down there, then they want him to throw the ball to the back right away. If not, you kind of want to work. It's 3rd and 4. Maybe work this side. And he does later. He does a great job on an RPO, and we'll show it, where he kind of makes this adjustment. And that's another thing that I didn't see live watching the back. I'm like, wow, that was a really good job by him not getting tricked. But right here, 3rd and 4, if you're looking that way and this is there, either kind of readjust and come back or just throw it to the back right here. I know he's trusting his legs a little bit, I think, but you end up just getting sacked because it's kind of everything kind of breaks down. On these like 3rd and mediums, 3rd and shorts, expect tight coverage. Expect guys to be breaking on the sticks,
Right.
So that ball's got to come out of your hands fast. And that's just something I think that will come with more experience. If he works this side, he's got Jimmy Horn, I believe that is, all day easy for the first down right there. And that's not a bad side to work because he comes over the ball, basically. The idea is he comes over the ball. What does this guy do? Because he should go out with the back is what you're thinking. If he stays over that ball, then you have Jimmy Horn there. If he widens out, then you got the tight end over the ball. So right here, if he's working that way, immediately the ball's on him right now for a first down. I just don't know why he didn't just throw this. If this is kind of locked up, I'm not sure what's happening here. But just throw it there.
Do you think he didn't see him with the left tackle kind of in his face there?
It's possible. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to tell exactly what these guys are seeing, but that's possible. But this just like he's also thinking, I'm not throwing that. Like the guys, I'm not sure what's happening. And I don't know if maybe they got a mixed up signal here. That's also possible because it looks like he's blocking down here. It doesn't look like I'm trying to get off press and run a route ever.
Right.
And if he's just trying to if he is supposed to be blocking, then just drop it down there, But this is a safe play. Just tucking it and run it if something looked wrong. But there were some options there. It's just kind of just to show people. It kind of looks like, whoa, what's going on? But, if he works this side instead of this side, then he has some options. But this is kind of a smart play from him not to just force a ball in there, whether the signal got messed up or just a bad route or something. Don't force it. Just pull it down. That's okay. We can punt and play another series, right?
Right.
This one, great read. Just got to hit the throw. And this is the throw he hit against Florida last week to Sean Atkins. Maybe I haven't clocked them both with a stopwatch, but maybe Jimmy Horn's a little faster. So maybe that was it, but he's played with Jimmy quite a few times. But here, this is the right read. He's got this window right here for him to bend into. He's bending in there. This is one I think if he hits him on the run, Horn may score, and you're just kind of waiting for that, right? It seems every week like it's going to happen, and it seems like it's coming. Maybe it'll be this week, but just a little low. I think if you get that on his body,
right,
this is probably house.
Yeah,
right read. Good job flipping good job kind of flipping those hips and getting back to throw. Just get a little bit on him. This is one of the ones maybe you're trying to aim to have it perfect. Just let it rip. Let your natural ability. He's got natural ability. Let it take over.
Yeah, Florida couldn't get the throw off when Jimmy was wide open. At least, last week they were able to get the throw off. Maybe this week they complete the pass.
Hit the throw, yeah. And then inside, what happened here is, and you'll see this come up later, they're inserting him as like a lead blocker on like an ISO play. So he's going to isolate the linebacker, block the linebacker. Other linebacker fills, so he rips it and throws it here. You'll see that play, and they hand the ball off for a pretty good gain later.
Maybe I haven't watched enough film or anything like that, but I haven't seen that kind of blocking where you're bringing the tight end up like in a passing situation like that, because they did it quite a bit with against Florida, and it worked really well. It's like a nice little wrinkle that I don't think I've seen.
A lot of teams, and this is something they did a little bit. They started doing a little bit too in Strong's last year. Just that they'd use Mathis sometimes as that guy.
Okay.
And, I think UConn maybe was the game where Mathis slipped the guy and was wide open for a touchdown. And they're going to do that too. But they're going to bring this guy in. And this is basically RPO. So it's ISO, but RPO on the other backer. So if both these guys come to field, you got a big hole behind them, right? It's right here. He's kind of looking here, and this guy is not kind of playing either, but there's a big hole because these guys see ISO and they come to fill. There's a big window there, but we'll see later those guys don't fill, and they hand off the ISO, and it's a really good play. So that play, you got a little bit of you just miss Horn. Here, you do a pretty good job of putting it on him. And you just get a drop there. This happens a little quick. But so back to back, those guys have completed a lot of passes together. So you're just hoping that gets cleaned up a little bit and those jitters go away and they find it. Because play before, great route, perfect route. Need a better throw here, really good throw. Just need to finish the play at receiver. So third down. This is what concerns me most. And this is not necessarily a quarterback issue or an O-line issue, but when people blitz, what's the plan for blitz? Because nobody really
who's your hot?
Nobody breaks hot. You know what I mean? There's nobody coming here. I think they're hot there. I believe maybe they're not hot, but right here I'm thinking, even though they drop out, guys are coming. Even if there's no technical hot on, I think you have to know where my release is. So maybe he needs to just be thinking, okay, I got to get him here. Now this happens fast, but when they're showing this at the line of scrimmage before the play, I got to know I got to know in my head, okay, what is my plan for blitz here? Because I think they might be bringing it. Right. Even if they bluff, they ended up they didn't bring a ton of guys because they ended up dropping guys out and just bringing interior and him kind of in the middle too. So you kind of get a double A gap. They move the back up. You can tell they're expecting it because Mangum gets moved up to here. Why are you moving him up there? Because you're expecting an A gap blitzer. So you want the back to meet him up at the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah, and Weiss said as much in his presser today that there were a couple of sacks and missed the hot read on this one. And this is the one he's talking about. He specifically mentions this play as one where you need to know your hots, right? And that slot receiver, I think you need to recognize that and maybe even just put a foot in the ground, right? And just be that outlet. You don't have to run that, break your route off or there's got to be some kind of key for the receivers to your arm side.
Typically, you when you're teaching at the college level, at places when I was at Tusculum, we had we had protection. We had like the guy that was running the coordinator job. It was the O-line coach and the co-coordinator. Worked in the NFL for a long time. So we had like legit NFL like protection rules. So the receivers had to learn the protections and they had to understand when they were hot to their side based on protection. So I'm assuming it's similar. And these guys know, okay, if two come from my side, I'm hot. The tricky part of this is when they drop two guys out, but these guys aren't looking to see who drops out. So you would think one of them would have broken hot just based on the look here and kind of seeing, but as a quarterback, you kind of got to know where's my hot and where's my outlet if this thing breaks down. So maybe you throw the speed out, but it does, to be fair to the quarterback, it happens really fast. You need one of these guys to just break in immediately and just try to hit him in the vacated area. Otherwise, this is kind of what's going to happen. So, but it's good that it happened in this game when you're up 2 touchdowns and you can fix it and work on it rather than it happen in a really big moment, right?
Right.
So hopefully that's something they can get figured out. And that could be the quarterback. That could be the receiver. That could be the offensive line. It could be a protection involves really everyone. So breakdowns there aren't super easy to pinpoint unless you just see a lineman just get beat, like whipped easily. Then you can tell, okay, that guy. But that doesn't always happen. So, all right, so here's where they run it. So you see here, same idea. He's coming in for ISO. And then a good job here getting to the second level. So you actually get both backers blocked. And that's why you have that big hole right there. And the safety has to make the play like 10 yards downfield.
And Brian Batty just kind of shoots out there and nice, easy first down. And
I know we're, as a podcast, we're championing him a few weeks ago. I'm glad to see him get more playing time. I think just even his size, first of all, he runs very strong for his size. Really strong for any size. He's a strong dude. His strength is you don't really think you're going to get that when you look at him, but he's a strong, explosive guy, and he's still coming off that injury. But the other part is he kind of gets hidden a little bit behind these linemen. And so by the time he gets to that, if he gets to the second level clean, he's coming out like he's shot out of a cannon because you don't see him. So he gets up on you fast. Good job up front there.
I remember when Colin and I interviewed Kerwin Bell prior to right before the 2019 season. Mm-hmm. I think Brian had just committed to USF, and we were kind of talking like during the recording of the podcast, and he was like, "Man, the running back we just got, and he named Brian, so we had to like cut that part out because you're not supposed to talk about it." But he was really high on him, and it was just it made it. After talking to Brian after the game on Saturday, now it makes a little bit more sense why he was kind of fourth on the depth chart, kind of working his way back in from a toe injury. And you saw what he was able to do. 200-yard games in the last 4 is nothing to sneeze at. And he had a really nice 43-yard run.
Yeah, and we'll look at that one in a second as well. But yeah, he's a guy. You definitely need to get him the ball more. He's so explosive and runs so hard, and just so hard to see. He just gets hidden, and I really think he needs a little bit more reps here. This is another one that's kind of in between right here to me. So again, they're going to arc here. Here I'm inside. Tight end's going to arc. Leave that. So you have 3 for 3 out here. If the quarterback pulls it, you're in pretty good shape if he gives it to. Pretty good job right here. You see we're getting off to the second level. We're moving the line of scrimmage here. Decides to keep it and gives him a nice little dead leg here to get away from him, and using that athleticism. That's kind of a crazy little play you're in college football, just pulling the old dead leg out. Like my uncle in the yard when I was 7 years old. But pretty good there. From the back, or do we have that one from the back? I guess we don't have the one from the back. This is another one that's kind of borderline to me. He kind of squeezed a little bit, but he's still square. You're probably good even giving it there with the T. I think he's going to run through any arm tackle. But when you're this athletic and you can do this, that's all right too.
If you watch closer, you can see our new photographer almost get taken out right there.
Oh, there it is.
Right there. So, yeah, Morgan was right in the line of fire her first game. So, Tim McLean almost took her out.
Well, I'm sure she's a fast learner. She was trying to snap one right there. Like, that's a true pro right there.
That's a pro right there.
Steve, take notes. I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't mean that.
But kind of.
So, unfortunately, you get a holding call there. Takes you out a little bit. But this is a play that you get a first down here, which is great. But I thought this was a cool little play that I think they actually ran this last year with Noah Johnson as well, and he didn't throw it either. So I know these tight ends may hate this play. So he's going to come in motion here, make it look like it's split zone where he'd normally come in motion, right? Kick out the defensive end, run zone inside. So he's going to come in motion. He's going to bluff. And so a lot of teams, you'll see them bluff, and then this guy becomes a blocker, right? He arcs around and blocks at the second level. This is a little triple option here with a tight end, and I think they haven't thrown it yet, so it may not be. But the way the tight ends look back right here, and I believe it's Chris Carter in the game last year with Noah Johnson too, so he's really just like – and is about in the same area. So he's really just – he's probably had like a flashback. Right there. So you pull it, and then you see how he's looking back? I think he's got the option to throw it there. So he's just getting wide. I believe the quarterback has the option to just flip it out there. He decides to kind of keep it, and he stretches and gets the first down. So great run for the first down. But I think I put this in here because I think he's got the option to throw this, which is a really cool design.
Now, I want to ask what's the rule? So, You see where Donovan Jennings is right now.
I think if he catches it behind the line of scrimmage,
you're okay.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Because up top, I believe that's Sean Adkins, if I'm not mistaken.
He's blocking.
He's blocking. So, what is it? At least behind the line of scrimmage, you're all right.
Yeah. Okay. If you throw it behind the line of scrimmage, you should be good. So right here, if you throw it there and he kind of catches it on the run there, he's just one-on-one with him. He sees this. He's got he's kind of leaning a little bit, and he can stick his foot in the ground and get vertical. He picks up the first down. So good play, but I think I kind of want to show this because it's a really cool design, I think. And it's just modern triple option football. Then not too many plays later, the touchdown vulture comes in.
I know. Marion Barber 2.0, man.
To finish off the drives.
All those poor, who was it? DeMarco Murray. All those poor DeMarco Murray owners as a fantasy football player in the mid late 2000s. They're feeling it. They're having flashbacks of their own.
Yeah. So jet motion here. You see how Jet holds these guys. It kind of even holds him for a second. and he's got to try to fight his way through. And then Mangum does a pretty good job. He does a good for a guy as big as he is. He does a really good job in traffic, and he's got pretty good feet. You can see him kind of jump cutting in traffic a lot.
Find the hole and then
being able to do a good job. He has his 9-yard touchdown later is a really good job of him using his feet and getting vertical in the hole. Really good job by him. Here's the long run here. It's just straight outside zone. But he talked about this one after the game. He's like, it just was outside zone and it was open outside, so I just stayed up in it, followed the block, and then great yards kind of after contact here. Good job up front. You're just outside zone, wide zone is all about kind of horizontal displacements. You're just trying to reach these people horizontally. Give your back, if you can't reach them, the back can get vertical. If you reach them and set the edge, I can just kind of stay on that outside path there.
Just
staying on path.
Don't worry about where Mitch Brinkman's right arm is. Other than that, it's fine.
No, don't worry about that. I think I think that was a payback call. The one they called on him earlier on McLean's run, I thought was pretty clean. He just pancaked the dude at the second level, and they called a hold. So whatever.
Yeah, makeup call. I mean, that's just hat on the hat, and then just doing what he does best, right? And Jimmy springs him for a few more yards. Gets up there, effort plays. I mean, I don't think we're going to confuse any of these wide receivers for Tyree McCants or Rodney Adams out there on the edge as run blockers, but they're doing a serviceable job just getting in front of people.
And I believe this is the All-American candidate at safety coming in here to try to lay the lumber. And give him a little stop and go there. Nice move there. Jet motion. Here's one. You take a shot. Maybe could have gotten an interference call here, but this is another one. It needs a little bit more a little bit better throw here. I think you got a touchdown. Weaver gets enough separation, and these are tough when you don't throw a ton of them, because a lot of times you want to throw it. You want to throw this right down the middle of the field. It's a post route, but sometimes you'll have coaches say, "Well, throw it to the right post or the left post," but you're really trying to throw it down the middle of the field is always the best way I've taught. Throw that thing down the middle of the field, let him run to it. If you got coverage on his back, you can maybe even take him away to the right post, let him run with air, let him run to it. You kind of miss right here. You don't want to miss there. It's hard to adjust back to that. So just lead him a little bit more there. Right decision. Good timing on it. Just lead him a little bit more. Let him get out in front and give him a chance to make a play. Because right there, you threw him a post earlier and kind of let him go up and get it here. He didn't really get a chance. Maybe you could have given a little bit of an interference call there, but I think it might have been uncatchable. So just a little bit more there. That's something you can clean up the more you play, right? Good job on 2nd and 10 here. Horn does a good job coming back to the ball, not just sitting. Nice ball, makes the catch with some contact there.
Good protection.
Good protection. It gives Timmy enough time to kind of look up top. He kind of looks up here first, doesn't like it for some reason. Probably sees this guy drifting a little bit. And you see right here, watch the head. Pops his head back this way. Kind of gets does kind of a weird little thing with his feet, but he's an athlete, so whatever. Flips it around, makes a good throw. Like
#athlete.
If I did this in the pocket, I might have torn my ACL before I could get back to throw it. But good job getting your feet under you and throwing, delivering a really good ball there. Put yourself in a 3rd and 2. This one you get caught trying to run draw. You get a blitz off the edge. I'm not sure who makes the mistake here. You're kind of wrapping here. I'm not sure who's there for that end guy. This might be something where you got to make a call up front and maybe change how you're blocking this right here with this guy coming off the edge, because this play is pretty much dead from go. That's hard to beat unless he's obviously not blocking the edge guy because his eyes are inside. They think they're going to get a nice little lead play here. Ends up not working out there. So you got a little bit kind of a draw counter look And just that one's just DOA. But maybe that's one that you check out of possibly. But then you get 4th and 2, and you get yourself a really good call here. You just don't quite execute it. Really good call. Bang, drop it over. Again, you make it look like this might be the same. This is probably pretty similar to the one that he didn't throw to Chris Carter. Yep. Maybe a similar idea right here. But basically modern day triple option. Or you got me. There's the pitch guy.
Got him.
Drops it to him.
That's just Timmy's fault that's Timmy's fault for hitting Mitch in the hands.
Make it hard on him. He's made some tough catches.
Seriously, make him dive or something, man. Don't it's always the easy catches you drop, right?
Just looks like he's just like, oh yeah, I got all kinds of room. I'm gonna turn upfield and smoke somebody. Oh no, and then you just kind of don't concentrate. But that really cool design, I think it was similar to the one on the 3rd down previously. But great job here by McLean getting off and kind of good job by the offensive line. First of all, like there's a bunch of guys coming. For the most part, you held it up pretty good there. McLean does a good job taking his time with this, getting the tight end wide open. Delivers a nice catchable ball while getting hit. You just got to hold on to that one. But again, it's tiny mistakes you're hoping you fix.
And that is a long jog back to the sideline.
Yeah.
Long. I mean,
that one's tough.
But he makes up for it later. He has a good grab.
So here you go. You don't get wide. Just take the hitch out here. Nice throw on time and on target. And then great run after catch here by Xavier Weaver, who's kind of proven he can do a little bit of anything. According to Jeff Scott, he didn't even know if he could catch punts. And now he comes out and is returning. Had 2 big punt returns in back-to-back games. So maybe he can do it all here. Here's a good outside zone here by Kelly Joyner getting in the mix here. Good job up front. You see how they're running him wide, right? But this guy got a cross face. Well, that just tells the back, stick your foot in the ground and get vertical. Great job by Joyner finding the seam there. And you get a nice 10-yard run on 1st down here on a little outside zone. This is a play that if you get really good at it, it's tough for anybody to stop, regardless of size, speed, or any other type of differential. If you get really good at that, it's tough to stop. Here's another one. Not quite sure what happens here, but you get a little bit of a game, and your right guard oversets a little bit. So he gets a little too overzealous and sets real wide for this guy. And then you just get beat inside with not much resistance there. But that's just the thing. I think he's thinking they probably had a call right here where this guy's coming off the edge. So he's calling maybe a fan call or an out call. So he's thinking, okay, I got to fan out to this guy. So he sets wide to get to him so it doesn't beat him on the edge. Unfortunately for him, that guy's coming inside and they're slanting inside. So he gets crossed up a little bit. But again, that's something hopefully with experience and seeing more stuff and getting more of those calls and those kind of blitz periods and that kind of stuff that can be fixed. So that kind of kills the drive right there. This is one I thought was a really good job by McLean on second viewing. Didn't quite see it in the stadium. So they're trying to get in. They're trying to get him to throw this, right? This guy fills. So this is kind of RPO. He fills. They got him running like a slant. So they want him to throw it because this guy's actually going to sneak in underneath it. And if he throws that blindly, that might be pick 6. Now, he might catch him, but that's probably an interception right here. So you look, he wants to throw it here initially. He's looking there. But he sees this guy, and you see him kind of this little kind of hitch right here where he kind of wanted to throw it but didn't. Moves the ball like he's going to throw. And what does he do? He just resets and throws outside real quick. Delivers a catchable ball. The camera kind of cuts it off here, but a catchable ball that's dropped. But this is really good kind of here. Right there, he wants to throw that slant, and he sees that guy and then resets, throws it outside. For what could have got you some good yards on second down, but more importantly, didn't force it into an area where they were trying to trick him. So really good job there understanding that. Obviously, 3rd and 19, you're not going to convert that. Really good job here, again, by McLean. Brinkman catches this one, but this is really tough to do. Blind, kind of, you give that blind fake, and it's naked, so you got to snap your head around. Naked means we're not pulling anybody to block the edge here. So sometimes you'll see a guard get pulled. If you're not pulling anybody, you call it a naked because there's nothing out there. All right. Good job snapping his head around and then avoiding and getting the ball onto Brinkman. And Brinkman does a great job after catch here. Running vaguely like the Juggernaut from X-Men, where he doesn't even like stop his motion to hit somebody. He just kind of dips his shoulder a little bit.
I'm the Juggernaut.
And this is another one. So we talk about having a plan for blitz. Well, they got a jet motion here. I don't know if this is part of it. He just turns and shows his numbers right here. Dollison. This could just be this guy's 10 yards off, whatever. I make the jet fake. I throw it out there. And this is a guy, unfortunately, Terrell Williams is hurt for the year. He's a really good player, but we're going to get to see more, I think, of Dollison. So luckily you have a replacement for Latrell Williams that I don't know. I think we both think is a really good player and a guy I really like to watch.
Oh yeah, big fan of him. I mean, I could watch his special team highlights.
Yeah. When I saw that a freshman receiver last year was on all the special teams, like not just like returning kicks, but like covering kicks. I'm like, this guy must be an animal. So I've been a big fan. He's explosive too. So it'll be exciting to see him get the ball a little bit more. Unfortunately, it took an injury for him to get a little bit more playing time, but I think he was kind of pushing that way anyways. But great job just getting the ball out to him. Get the ball out to your playmakers right there, McLean. Don't need to make the fake. Just throw it out to him. Let him work in space. And he about tiptoes the sideline for a touchdown.
The comment here, Dawson, a beast, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Big Dawson fan.
Huge Dawson fan, and we're going to see it the rest of the year here.
This is where you get the penalty on Cecil. You'll see he does a pretty good job right here. This is him if you want to watch him the whole play. He gets to the second level, and unfortunately for the FAMU guy, he gets to the second level. So pretty good. But again, outside zone, and then great job. Wide, sticking your foot in the ground, getting vertical here, and then making a guy miss. And then that's always good to see. You block somebody into the ground, into the end zone. Always a winner.
That'll always play.
And just a little more Petit. I like how he finishes a run here. Again, that's that safety that is preseason All-American, senior, not scared, finishing the run right into him, not trying to tiptoe out of bounds. I like the way he runs. Great cut there.
I believe that safety's like 6'2", 6'3". So
yeah, he's not small.
Brian, who's I think maybe 5'8" on a good day, kind of go up and basically play him to a stalemate's pretty impressive and move him back a little bit.
Strong muscle hamster vibes, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So then we got the final play of the offense here. Nice little touchdown for, I believe, a freshman walk-on, right?
Yep, Esias Young.
Fort Myers, the Green Wave. Same school as Darian Felix.
Look at that.
And then, just for good measure, you see how just for the special team lovers here, we got 4 guys in these 2 A gaps. It looks like they got a 3-man wall. We're going to overwhelm the wall. And then I believe that's Brian Petit that gets a piece of this. So putting speed on the inside there, overwhelming that wall. Let's get a little slow-mo over that. Getting a piece of this punt. These are the type of plays in close games. Punt blocks. There was some crazy stat a while ago. I don't know if it's still relevant. But I think there was a stat at one point that if you blocked a kick, you won like 85 or 90% of the games where you blocked a kick. That was one of Urban Meyer's pet stats, which is why he loves special teams so much. But, yeah, that's it. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Rhett asking who are the top 3 wide receivers? Healthy?
I think you got Horn, Dollison,
Weaver.
Xavier Weaver. I think is depending on the health of Bryce Miller. But I'm a big fan of Dollison. And I think Horn. I mean, Horn got more open against Florida's defensive backs than Alabama guys did. He roasted those guys pretty good. So I like him a lot. And then Xavier Weaver's having a great year. So to me, the top three, that's the top three. What about you, Nate?
I think you're right on. Depending on Bryce Miller's injury status going forward, he's doubtful for this week versus BYU, but he's always been a solid contributor. I would love, if he gets back healthy, I would love to see more 10 personnel, just because I like how they spread it out, and I know that's kind of been a thing with Timmy over the last couple of weeks, right? To just get some athletes on the field. I like seeing Xavier and Amarian on the outside, I guess, now with Latrell out, and then get Jimmy Horn and Bryce Miller on the slots, man. That's a dynamic bunch, and then you can cycle in whatever running back you want, and they're going to be able to move the ball, I think.
Yeah, I like when they spread it out a little more, because if you're watching the FAMU game. FAMU just they're kind of staying with 3 guys, like almost like a 4-3-ish look. They may have one of those guys maybe kind of a hybrid backer,
right?
DB. But the box is basically functionally, because they're splitting the difference between the slots, if not covering them up. The box is basically a 4-1 box, so you're getting a 5-man box with a quarterback that can run. You've basically got a +2 numbers advantage. So I'm a big fan. If you got a running quarterback and you can spread people out and throw enough to keep them spread out, then it'll help your running game too. Because those backs will get a full head of speed. If you're running read and you're holding an end, and now you've got 5 linemen to block 4 guys, the 3 remaining line and the backer, and you get some of those backs like Batee or Joyner with a full head of speed going downhill, that's gonna be tough. So I like that too. I think they're starting to do it even with the tight ends as well. They're starting to spread them out a little more too.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a clearer picture for the quarterback too. Because when you bring guys in tight and you have those tight compressed formations, it's a lot easier to hide blitzes and that kind of stuff.
Right. So, more people kind of in the window.
Spread it out. Let them spread them and shred them, right? That's the old saying?
I think so.
Guys like to say.
How do you think the defense will hold up against BYU? They've got some stout offensive linemen, all of them over 6'4", all of them over 300 pounds. Some have a second mortgage.
They're old enough. Some of them have some of their kids have mortgages. But I think it's gonna be a tough night. I think it's really gonna be a long night. You're gonna have to get some splash plays. This might be like where you're having to play it like Florida, where you got to be aggressive. It'll depend a little bit on what they're doing offensively, but it's going to be a tough one. I just think they can get up front and maul you a little bit. As encouraging as it was at times, there was a couple mistakes against FAMU that you got a holding call that took back. They had a pretty good run on some read. They read an interior lineman. Almost like a zone read, but more like a midline where they read an interior lineman. FAMU did. They got their back to the second level for like a 20, 30-yard run, I think, but it got called back for a holding.
Right.
So it's going to be – I think it's going to be a tough night for the defense. You're hoping that you can get some turnovers or something and generate some plays like that. Maybe get a few, maybe be aggressive, catch them in a blitz, get some sack, big plays, because BYU hasn't been like a juggernaut on offense. It's not like this is not last year's BYU team where they're averaging like 8 yards a play and they're basically on the same level as Alabama and all these other the best offenses in the country. They're averaging like 5 yards a play, which is good for, as you guessed very closely, 88th in the country. So they're not unbelievable, but I think the personnel matchup might be tough just because how big they are up front and their willingness to just run wide zone. And then I think that's true. If you can slow them down in the run game and get up on them and make them throw, then that's not what they like to do. their game against Arizona State. Arizona State fumbled the opening kickoff. They went down and scored. They're up early. Once they get up early, they can just take the air out of the ball and just try to run downhill at you. Then that opens up play action and that kind of stuff. But if you can get them off that early, they haven't had to deal with that this year, I don't think. So I think that's a good point. If you can kind of slow that down, make them play from behind, they haven't had to do that yet. So
I agree.
I think it's a tough task, but that's going to involve your offense coming out fast too, which they kind of they did before the turnover, right? Against FAMU, they came out fast, went right down the field, what you hope to see, and then turnover. So you can't have that. But if you can come out, score, put a little pressure on them. How many defensive starters are? Do we know that? I think they're saying Mekhi points 50-50.
Christian
if
Williams.
You count the guys from the beginning of the
year.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess Will Jones technically out for the year. He was going to be slotting in it. So,
the guys that started FAMU, I think you'll get. It seems like you may get LaPointe back, which will be helpful.
And we'll know his status. You got to do some sleuthing. They travel tomorrow to Provo.
Check the Insta.
Check the Insta. Check the players' Insta. Check the equipment manager's Instagram, Snapchat. You got to do some sleuthing because we won't know who traveled until Saturday. Prior to the game, we'll get the travel roster, and maybe not even then. And then you won't know if he's suited up, even if he does travel or he's listed on the travel roster until they're suited up and they're actually warming up. So unless we can find some sleuthing, so we're gonna send that out. You guys just go creep on some social media, figure it out, break the news yourself.
Yeah, so I think if LaPointe's back, I think everybody that started, and you correct me if I'm wrong, everybody that started last week plus LaPointe would be back. I don't think anybody defensively. I think it was more of an offensive side of the ball that had those big injuries.
There were so many. Didn't Darian Grant get hurt?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, there was just...
And there's some guys that it's hard to tell because they may have gotten hurt and then they're just like, all right, you're good for tonight.
Right.
But they may be back this week. So we haven't heard anything. Jeff Scott hasn't said anything about anybody else being out, and he was pretty forthcoming with the injuries on offense, I thought.
Yeah.
So he wasn't really trying to be cagey. He just kind of came out and said when asked. So hopefully you're kind of pretty close to full squad. And then let's kind of see what happens.
So we'll see if Darian. I haven't heard anything about Felix, but maybe we'll all look into it.
Again, that's one of those positions that you're lucky you have really good depth there. So
right.
If he is hurt, it seems like they can just cycle another guy in and make up for it. They seem to be going kind of with a hot hand a lot of time at running back, and so it seemed like Joyner's been the odd man out. Well, if Felix is hurt, then he slides right back in, and then we'll see what happens. I think luckily you got some quality at that position though. So yeah. if something is wrong there, I think you're in good shape.
But you keep losing some guys, and the quality starts to dissipate. You've already got Leo Parker and K1 Powell already out for the year. So
let's go for one for a couple weeks. You can do that, but let's not get too far down the depth chart here.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's see. Would you agree athleticism covered some mistakes against FAMU?
I think some.
Yeah.
A couple of the stuff in the run game where, where it's kind of a borderline read. I thought maybe he should have given it, like Timmy should have given it to the back. I think if that's, a little bit better guy on the edge there, maybe he gets caught when he's trying to get out. But, I thought a lot of the mistakes were just kind of just execution mistakes, dropping balls, maybe missing a throw by a little bit. It seemed like a lot of that kind of stuff more than just where it was like I totally messed up, but he still kind of got out of it because he was more athletic. I thought they did kind of what they're supposed to do for the most part. It's just didn't execute as well all the time. But there were some parts where they executed really well. So it was encouraging. I thought they could have played a little bit cleaner, and I think they would say that too. But always good when you can win by 3 touchdowns, almost cover the spread, and not even play your best. So that's always a good day.
Absolutely, and I think that'll wrap it up. I think we covered the good, the bad, the let's get a little bit better in this area. There's some really good things to build off of over the last 2 weeks. Let's continue that trend. We had some good things with Florida. We had more good things with FAMU. Let's just keep adding to it, right? It's progress brick by brick this season. So, by the time we get, to our season in review or, the week before the UCF game, it's just all great highlights. And we don't even have to bother with any miscues because USF's just going to end up running the table.
There you go.
So there you go. Appreciate you guys listening, interacting. It's always fun. Be sure to check out our preview. It'll be up on Friday. I'll be writing that tomorrow. We're going to have some Q&A from Vanquish the Foe, which is BYU's SB Nation site, and some more things coming up. We've got former USF defensive back Trayvon Griffin. If you guys haven't seen it, wrote a great story for us yesterday. Do stars matter? And by all accounts, stars definitely matter at the top level, and Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio definitely matters. At the top level with your Alabamas, your Floridas, your Clemsons. But the lower you get down, I think it's more scheme to what your players can do well, and you'll find success. And that's basically what that is. Go check it out. He did some great digging into the numbers on that, and he'll have he'll have something from the player's perspective. He was a Navy commit for a while. He was there for a semester before joining USF. So that's a really interesting take on how things been. He spanned two coaching staffs with Skip Holtz and Willie Taggart. So be on the lookout for that in the coming days. And we'll have the pregame and halftime and postgame show at like 2:30 in the morning or something like that. So
get your coffee ready.
Get your coffee. Oh my god, dude, I'm so not ready. It's 10:43 and I'm yawning already, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a big nap at like 5 o'clock on Saturday. Hopefully that plays well in the household with 2 kids. Hey, man, I'm just gonna go take a nap. I got
that's not good. Yeah, if you figure that one out, let me know what you did because I'm gonna try to use it.
Maybe if I just hey, go to Big Lots today, go buy all the Halloween decorations you want. Maybe I'll be able to sneak in a nap or 2.
Start coughing. You can quarantine for a little bit. No, I'm good.
All right, y'all. Appreciate you listening and watching along to another edition of TDS Live FAMU Film Room. We'll be doing this weekly. Appreciate it. Have fun. Stay safe. And we'll talk to you on Saturday.